Hello, and welcome to another video in our Parts of Speech series. Today we are talking about pronouns. After watching this video, you will be able to identify pronouns, antecedents, personal pronouns, reflexive pronouns, intensive pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, interrogative pronouns, relative pronouns, and indefinite pronouns. Sounds like we've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's get started. When you hear the word pro, you probably think about a professional. Unfortunately, pronouns are not nouns who find themselves getting paid to be nouns in some major league. But the prefix pro is actually a Latin word with many different meanings. On behalf of, in place of, before, for, in exchange for, just as. Another word with pro in it is the word proxy. The word proxy names someone who does something on behalf of someone else. Like when you don't want to break up with somebody, so you get your friend to do it for you, your friend is acting like your proxy. Pronouns are very similar. A pronoun is a word used in place of one or more nouns or pronouns. It's kind of like a cardboard cutout of someone. It's not the real thing, but it represents the real thing. We use pronouns so that we don't have to use the name for the noun over and over again. Here's an example sentence. When Mr. Whitley saw the red light, Mr. Whitley slammed on the brakes, and the burrito went all over Mr. Whitley. Now, we could make that sound better, right? Exactly. We're going to use pronouns. Check this out. When Mr. Whitley saw the red light, he slammed on the brakes, and the burrito went all over him. Doesn't that sound better? And who wouldn't want a burrito all over him? Am I right? The word the pronoun stands for or replaces is called its antecedent. Say it slowly with me. Antecedent. This comes from two Latin words pushed together. Ante means before, and cedent means go. So antecedent means to go before. The antecedent usually goes before the pronoun so that we know what the pronoun is replacing. Now remember, I said usually, not always. Don't you dare go tell those grammar police I said always. Let's look at an example. Okay? Mr. Whitley found some money on the ground, so he went to Savers. He is the pronoun and Mr. Whitley is the antecedent. Since Mr. Whitley comes first, when you see the word he later in the sentence, you know it's referring back to Mr. Whitley. But sometimes the antecedent isn't actually a word in the sentence. For example, who invented the toilet? We've got no antecedent, but we do have a pronoun, who. Here's another one. No one could solve the riddle. We've got no antecedent, but we do have a pronoun, no one. Let's look at one more. This one has three pronouns in it, but no antecedents. We have, I thought you said that everybody would dance. The pronouns I, you, and everybody are used in the sentence, but there's no antecedent. Just like nouns, pronouns can be divided into some different categories. So let's start with personal pronouns. A personal pronoun refers to the one speaking when it's in the first person, the one spoken to in the second person, or the one spoken about in the third person. Here are the examples. In the first person, if you're talking about yourself and you are a person, you would say I, me, mine, we, us, our, or ours. If you're talking to somebody and this person is a person, you would say you or yours. If you and somebody are talking about some other person that's not around or that you're just not talking to for whatever reason, you would say he, him, his, she, hers, it, they, them, or theirs. These personal pronouns all refer to, wait for it, a person. Yeah, I know, it's tricky, right? But you got to be careful. And so we're going to need the Mr. T tip of the day. What do you got for us, Mr. T? Oh, I see. Words like his, her, my, our, its, and your are considered pronouns by some people, but they're not because they serve the same purpose as an adjective. So don't be fooled and drink milk. Next, we're going to look at reflexive and intensive pronouns. A reflexive pronoun refers to the subject and functions as a complement or an object of a preposition. Now, we haven't covered those yet, so I'll flesh those out a little bit later, but just hang with me for now. An intensive pronoun emphasizes a noun or another pronoun. Another way you could say that is an intensive pronoun makes things sound a little more intense. Here's some examples. Divided into the first person, second person, and third person categories, we've got myself, ourselves, yourself, yourselves, himself, herself, itself, and themselves. These words are all the same. The reflexive and intensive pronouns, it's all of them, but the circumstances of the sentence determine whether they are reflexive or intensive. It's kind of like how if you go to some girl's house in the middle of the night and you play her a romantic song, if she likes you back, it's romantic. If she doesn't like you back, it's super creepy and she's going to call the cops. So the circumstances determine whether or not it's reflexive or intensive, not the word itself. So here's just a normal sentence, and we're using the pronoun herself. And in this sentence, we're using it as a reflexive pronoun. She is herself again. It's referring to herself. She is herself. Now, let's look at this exact same pronoun, but let's use it as an intensive pronoun. She designed the bridge herself. Here, it's intensive. It's adding emphasis to the fact that she designed this bridge. Now, reflexive pronouns refer to the subject when the subject does something to itself, when the subject does something for itself, when the subject is or seems like itself. Now, the usual ways it can be an object of the preposition would be cliches like, you need to get over yourself. You look like yourself. You are all about yourself. So when it comes right after a preposition like that, that's a reflexive pronoun. Now here's the cool thing about intensive pronouns. They're actually not even necessary. You can pull them right out of a sentence and the whole thing is still going to make sense. And that's an easy way that you can check if you're having a hard time determining if it's reflexive or intensive. So let's look at this in action, okay? Amelia flew the plane herself. Now this is an intensive use of the pronoun herself. If we took herself out of this sentence, it still makes the sense. Amelia flew the plane. It works. All right, let's look at one more. I myself sold a number of lemonades. Now we're working in the intensive again, and we know that because we can pull myself out. It's just adding emphasis, and the sentence is still going to make sense. I sold a number of lemonades. There's not as much emphasis there, but the sentence still makes sense. Now, what you need to know is that if you do the same thing with a reflexive pronoun, it's going to change the sentence. So here's a normal sentence. I gave myself $100. This is reflexive, but if we remove the reflexive pronoun, oh no, I gave $100. You see, taking the reflexive pronoun out actually cost me $100. And I was saving that money. I was going to throw a pizza party for my students. Oh man. Well, I guess we'll just keep doing assignments at school instead of having a pizza party. Those darn reflexive pronouns. Okay. Next on the pronoun train is the demonstrative pronoun. Demonstrative pronoun points out a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. These are the only 4 demonstrative pronouns: this, that, these, and those. Here's some examples of using those in a sentence. This is the best ice cream and sausage soup that I've ever had. These are the best boogers of those I picked today. In each one of these, the demonstrative pronoun is pointing something out. But watch out. When these words are used to modify a noun or pronoun, they're actually adjectives and not pronouns. You know what would be cool? It'd be cool if I could come up with one example sentence that used all 4 of these demonstrative pronouns, like an adjective. I wonder if I could do that. Let's see if this works. This smell reminds me of that time I ate all those Takis and ruined these pants. See what we've got here is the word this, which can be a demonstrative pronoun, but here it's telling us which smell. And then we've got that, which can be a demonstrative pronoun, but right here is telling us which time. Those is telling us which Takis, and these is telling us which pants. So all 4 of these, though they can be demonstrative pronouns, in this case, they're all being used as adjectives. So that's really something you got to watch out for. It's not necessarily about the word, but it's really about how it's being used in the sentence. Should we do interrogative pronouns next? You see what I did there? An interrogative pronoun introduces a question. Yeah, sometimes things can be simple. Here's some interrogative pronouns. What, which, who, whom, whose. Here's some examples. Who ate my ice cream and sausage soup? Which of your pants were ruined by Takis? What is up, dog? Now, just like our old pals, the demonstrative pronouns, interrogative pronouns can be adjectives when they modify pronouns or nouns. Let's take a look. Which player scored the most points? Which here is not introducing the question like a subject. Instead, it is modifying player. Player is the subject of this interrogative question. Now, I wish it was over, but back in the day, there was this group of guys. You've probably heard about them. They are the OG grammar squad, and they were like, oh man, we need to make so many pronoun categories. I just love pronoun categories. Yeah, and I love not having electricity. Yeah, electricity's the worst. Anyway, you get the idea. So we got 2 more to go. Hang in there. Relative pronouns. Okay. Relative pronouns introduce an adjective clause. Now that phrase itself, adjective clause, can be a little bit intimidating, but don't be afraid of it. I'm going to explain it just fine. Okay, here's our common relative pronouns. Not all of them, just the common ones. That, which, who, whom, and whose. Here's some example. Spaghetti, which I hate eating, rarely gets made at our house. Which is our relative pronoun in this case, referring back to spaghetti as its antecedent. And then you've got the alien that took my clothes never came back. That took my clothes is our adjective clause, that being the relative pronoun, referring back to the antecedent alien. I'm going to go ahead and highlight the adjective clauses for you so you can see those. And you could even pull those out and the sentences would still make sense on their own. Now, for those of you who have the fear of missing out, here is the entire list of relative pronouns, but you really don't need to write all these down, okay? All right, we're finishing up with indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns refer to a person, a place, a thing, or an idea that may not be specifically named. Now, the key there is may not be, all right? So let's look at some examples. Everyone completed the test before the bell rang. Everyone, is it that specific? It could be if you have more context than just the sentence, but in the sentence, it's really not. Another example is neither of the teachers knew where the other was during lunch. Okay, these are indefinite pronouns. We're not really sure who they're referring to in this case, but they are replacing. We know for sure they're replacing a noun. We're just not sure which ones they are, which is what makes them indefinite. Now, there is a lot of indefinite pronouns. That's why I'm not going to put them in this video. You need to go to Google if you really want to see the whole list because there's a lot of them. But guess what? These silly suckers can be adjectives too. just crazy, isn't it? I know. Let's take a look. Look in both cabinets. Both is telling us how many cabinets they need to look in, and that makes it an adjective in this sentence. The next one, both contain what you need. Both is a pronoun here. It's actually the subject of this sentence. The next example, each player made one shot. We have two adjectives here in bold that are going to be pronouns in our next sentence, each and one. Those are both modifying a noun. And then you look at the next sentence, each of the players made one of the shots. Here you have each as the subject of your sentence, and you've got one as a pronoun telling us what they made. So that's one way that these indefinite pronouns can be adjectives or pronouns. So don't just count on the word telling you what you need to know about what it is. You really need to understand what it's doing in the sentence. All right, guys, we made it to the end. Let's recap what we've learned so far. Pronouns are words used in place of one or more nouns or pronouns. Personal pronouns refer to the one speaking, the one spoken to, or the one spoken about. Reflexive pronouns refer to the subject and function as a complement or an object of the preposition. Intensive pronouns emphasize a noun or another pronoun. Demonstrative pronouns point out a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. Interrogative pronouns introduce a question. Relative pronouns introduce an adjective clause. And finally, indefinite pronouns refer to a person, a place, a thing, or an idea that may or may not be specifically named. I hope this video has been very helpful for you. Good luck getting out there and finding those pronouns.